Hola tripulantes, soy Ana Cristina Olvera, qué gusto saludarles de nuevo. Estamos en Personas Espaciales de la Fundación Espacial de Katia Chazarreta y estamos aquí en el backstage platicando un corto con esas personas espaciales para que nos cuenten un poco más acerca de sus carreras y nos ayuden a inspirarnos. Y ahora estoy con Susie Martínez. Ella es ingeniera de cargas útiles de la industria comercial espacial. Susie, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Is it your first time in Mexico?
No, my husband is from Mexico.
Oh, okay. So you know Mexico.
Martinez.
So how do you feel about being here in Personas Espaciales?
I'm beyond honored to be a part of anything that Katia does, and she keeps asking me to be a part of these events, and I'm so excited. I don't know why, but she keeps asking me, and every opportunity I get to speak in Mexico is an honor.
So what's going to be your main message for the youth, or if you've already...
Yeah, so my topic today is about International Space Station payloads, which is like what you said, versus lunar payloads. So okay. I'm a lunar space engineer, and there's a lot of differences between it. But the key takeaways is that we need all kinds of different experiments to advance space and advance space knowledge.
So how is it different going to the moon now than it was before?
Oh, well, technology has advanced by 70 years. We have more capacity, more capabilities, and the technology that we are going to get from these missions to the moon is going to be unlike anything that we've ever experienced. It's going to widen our knowledge of the moon to an unbelievable capacity.
So when we think about going to the moon, we always picture like these huge rockets and huge machines, and many of the young people that are looking at this video may say, well, I'm not going to be able to do any of that. But it's different now, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like a huge machine that is going to be there. We need very...
It is. Like the rockets themselves need a lot of firepower to get something as far away as the moon. So we have a lot of these massive rockets that are sending little teeny tiny landers and rovers to the moon. So like the Eagle, very large landing vehicle, but there's some very small ones right now from some companies that are sending like just very small, like a portion, maybe 2-3 meters tall, to land on the moon and get the data that we are looking for. So not all of them are massive, but some of them are on the larger scale side, like the SpaceX Starship and Blue Origin Blue Moon. Those are very large landers. And so we need all kinds. We need both to understand. We need science and human capacity as well.
Exactly. So we can do things that are more achievable and affordable. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's
changing. Can you give
changing.
me some examples?
Yeah, of course. There's some smaller companies that are sending small lunar landers that are being funded by NASA, which through the CLPS program, which is the Commercial Lunar Payload Services program from NASA, and they are paying for payloads to collect science on the moon, and they are paying for the missions to go to the moon. So they're funding these small companies sending small landers with this massive science on it, and we're just collecting more and more data every single time we attempt a landing.
What kind of science can we do on the moon and on the way to the moon?
Oh yeah, all kinds. So our atmosphere is incredibly unique in the sense that once we leave the Earth's magnetosphere, everything is different. So we have low Earth orbit, we have cislunar space, we have low lunar orbit, and we have lunar surface. So each one of those can have different types of payloads, different science that we can collect. So everyone's familiar with the International Space Station, and we have a lot of research from low Earth orbit, and because we've had people on the space station for 25 years. So we're pretty clocked out on that one. We have a lot of research and a lot of science from there, but once you get past low Earth orbit, it's completely new. And it's not new because we did it in the Apollo days, but the science that we're collecting is much more focused on science rather than get the astronauts to the moon alive, which is basically the mission of the Apollo mission. So yeah, we can collect all kinds. So cube satellites, satellites are in GEO, which is just above low Earth orbit. But in cislunar space, we can study the Van Allen belts, which is high radiation of the things that the payloads will be experiencing. So getting through the Van Allen belts, we'll be able to measure the radiation between them. And once we're in low lunar orbit, we can measure things on the moon. We can measure how much water is on the moon using some instruments. And once we land on the surface, we can have rovers, we can have habitats, we can have people. So literally it is limitless on the kind of science and things that we can do from low Earth orbit just to the moon.
So what advice would you give to young engineers or any professional that says, well, I want to send something to the moon?
Just start. Honestly, like a big part of the battle is just starting. And when I was a young student, when I was young in my career, everything seemed impossible. Everything seemed so scary, and so just getting ahead of that and starting it and having your ideas and talking about your ideas with other people, someone that can put you in contact with someone like me who does send space science to the moon, and then all of a sudden your idea is now a payload. So that's my advice.
And how has it been for you as a woman to be in this
difficult
sector?
We do engineering because we love it, not because it's easy, of course, but it really takes a concentrated effort from us women in STEM on behalf of all of engineering to make a concentrated effort in making STEM a better place.
What do you think would be like specific things that we could do to make it more inviting for women?
Make it less awful. I don't know. No, truly, like what Katia is doing here. Honestly, like the speakers today, it's 50-50. There's half women, half men, and that alone says volumes about the type of person that Katia is and like the people that she associates with. Through the fact that she went out to find space experts, and half of them are men and half. And so events like this and people like Katia, people like us that are trying to make this concentrated effort into making a space more inviting for women. And it's really just doing this more and making it a place where women feel comfortable seeing their role models, seeing people like me, Kat, Camille, and Lauren, like doing jobs that they would like to do. And then they say, oh, well, they can do it, I can do it. Like that is representation is really all there is. That's all that matters.
Tell us a little bit about what you're working on currently and what are your plans for the future?
Yeah, so I'm a lunar payload engineer and I work on sending science to the moon. I work at a commercial aerospace company that is going to be launching many lunar landers, but specifically the first one next year. We are launching all kinds of science, like it's going to be incredible. And I'm working on a payload right now that may quite literally change how we think about the regolith on the moon, like the understanding of how it came to be and how the lunar surface is and how it exists and how it interacts with people and vehicles. And that is our main science payload right now. And it is incredible to be working on something every single day that would quite literally change our understanding of the moon. I'm so excited and I'm so lucky I get to work on something like this. And of course, future plans is more science to the moon, understand more about what's going on and the Artemis missions that are coming up in the next few years. Artemis 3, 4, and 5 will be landing on the moon. And so we'll be able to gather all kinds of data, all kinds of space data. And with our more sophisticated instruments than back in the 60s, of course, we'll have a better understanding of the things we may already know, right? We know things, of course, but once we have like today's technology on the moon, like I think things are really gonna change for space and space travel and long-term space travel as well.
You do a lot of engagement too in outreach. How can people get in touch with you with your content?
You can follow me on Instagram at @AstraSue, like Ad Astra per Aspera is like a famous saying in space, and my name is Susie. So @AstraSue, and LinkedIn, and I think that's it. Or TikTok as well, same handles. So
well, it's great having you here. I hope you enjoy your time with the Mexican youth and also in Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely, I always enjoy every second I spend in Mexico.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anna.